Tell us a little bit about that one.
This board here, this board's it's called the V2 stub. It's a popular board in our line, the Rocket. You know, it's based off the Rocket. It's got our little V2 Rocket logo, but it's stubbed. It's a small weight board, but the most interesting thing about this board is the construction. This board was built with recycled EPS foam. It was glassed using super sap resin, which is an organic plant-based resin, kind of in the epoxy family. And then it's a hand-built board in Los Angeles, but it's also got a wood inlay. It's a bamboo wood inlay, and it's very articulate. I think it's 6 or 8 pieces of veneer.
Super cool looking.
And it's just a very artisan, very beautiful, articulate board.
What does this retail for?
This is getting up towards $800.
It is.
Board, yeah.
Bitchin' looking board.
Beautiful
and it's also
board.
Eco-friendly.
It's
more so than your standard.
It's a plant-based resin.
Yep.
The foam's been recycled from old EPS, and yeah, it's definitely you know, the holy grail is to find an organic-based or recycled or a sustainable materials that compete on price, performance, and workability.
Yep.
You know, we're not going to go out on a limb and make make a sustainable or green or eco-based boards just to do it, just to say we did it. It has to make sense.
Yep.
You know, the surfer wants performance and price, and you know, if you can meld that together with the eco technologies, then all the better.
So this is reblown foam?
It's reblown foam.
And this is a pigment or something that was put into the
resin? Yeah, it's a tint. It looks like they swirl.
Well, it helps to, you know, when you do the recycled foam like that, sometimes you see the wood. It kind of
masks a little bit of the irregularities. Sure.
And one more board there that I see over there, and you're handling the distribution for MR. Let's talk about that board, knowing that he's the man of the hour being recognized here in the Icons of Foam.
One of the true benefits of, one of the best things I've been fortunate to do over the years is have a relationship with Mark. We started making his boards for the USA in about 2004, and I consider myself very lucky to have a guy like Mark Richards be a part of my life. And one of the most important things I learned about Mark is he's so well known for his surfing prowess. You know, 4 world titles, he's won contests of 2-foot waves, he's won contests at Waimea Bay. But his board design and his shaping tenacity and the detail of his designs.
That fly's bothering us.
That fly's punk rock.
Get him out of here.
He's amazing. I would say he's the most underrated surfboard craftsman, even though he's so well known.
You were saying he's really meticulous.
Underrated. Huh?
He's really meticulous about how fine detail.
His stuff is so accurate, so beautiful. And when I started making his 1978, 80, and 82 retro boards with the V bottoms and the twin fins, it really opened my mind to how to take a high, because I was always a little, you know, I'm overweight, whatever.
And now look at you.
Being a bigger guy and trying to paddle around on these high performance boards, it's always a struggle. So then you take these deep concaves and the modern board and blow it up, you end up feeling like you're on top of the water and the board's hard to get on the rail. And when I first started working with Mark and first was introduced to true V bottoms and flat bottoms, and I could realize you could use so much more volume and still roll the board up on a rail and still control all that volume. It was really an eye-opening thing for me as a surfboard designer.
Let's take a load off and wrap things up here. Some fantastic insight. One of the world's best shapers, Matt Biolas. What's next? What are you working on?
Getting out of here.
Are you going to try and get in the water?
Tonight? No, I'm toast. I'm toast.
And I know you've got some questions, Dave, before we wrap it up here with Matt.
He wants to know my best board story, but
not on air. But got to ask you about when somebody orders a board from you, you give them the options about the glassing and a deck patch and that type of thing? I mean,
oh, for sure. Hey, the thing that separates surfboards from all the mass market, you know, everything's the same products in the world, is we still make custom product. We don't charge any more for a custom board, and any kid can walk into a surf shop in just about any surf town in this country, hell, around the world, and he can order a custom handmade Lost surfboard with pink and green and tint and a tail patch or carbon or just about any way he wants it. And 19 out of 20 times, he's going to get exactly what he asked for.
The question that the kid's asking right now who's watching live, how long is that going to take for you to make that board for me?
It depends on the time of year. If you ordered it right before the Hurley Pro, it's going to add a little while. But, you know, 8 to 12 weeks, we can get a board to a customer. And if it's a guy in New Jersey, or I was just in New England, which, by the way, is a beautiful place in the world.
It is. Great lobster.
At least 6 weeks of the year. But,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we pride ourselves that we make custom product. Otherwise, you could just ship it all overseas like most other things we use.
Gloss coat, no gloss coat. What's the secret?
This board's got both.
Yeah, tell me about that.
This board's a gloss and polish on the bottom and then up onto the rails. And then we left the matte deck, no pun intended. And then if you look really close, you can see the glare of the logo. It has a spot gloss on it.
Well, is it true that some surfers don't want gloss at all on the bottom of the board? Does it go faster?
It's true that most surfers don't want to pay extra for it.
Is it heavier?
It does add a little bit of weight.
A little bit of weight. That's
sure.
what I always thought. It was a
and
little bit
cost
heavier.
And time to get the board.
But
it's interesting because we've been really promoting the resin tints, and a lot of guys in this building here are much more artisanal, small, local, you know, boutique brands. And they've been doing this for years and years and years, the fun little beautiful resin tints and pigments. And I kind of got really passionate about it the last couple of years. We started taking it from just the retro type boards and putting it on high performance type boards. And what was really cool this year is Julian Wilson, when he came for lowers, said, hey, I want some of those resin tints on my contest boards. And most of his heats he surfed at the US Open was on a board with really bright neon resin tints. It was kind of cool, and he went outside the box and said, you know what, I want that on my contest board. And I don't think anyone's really done that before. It was cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, Gabriel Medina did the marking on the bottom of his board, which he didn't use in France, but we told him during the Nike, the cameras were being able to pick up the bottom of his board.
What did he do?
He actually throws air, Medina.
Yeah,
and
no, I know.
The white on white, sometimes the judges can't really pick it up.
Yes,
He's spinning.
true. Gabriel is, I have a good relationship with his crew. His shaper stayed with me during the US Open. His name's Johnny Cabianca. He's a Brazilian living in Spain. He's the head shaper at Pucas in Europe. And he stayed with me during the contest, and we built a lot of boards for Gabriel that Johnny shaped. And the paint jobs are designed by the owner of Pucas' son, and they're the largest board manufacturer in Europe. And it's just, the whole Brazilian explosion, it's, you know, they're earning it, and their attitude's fantastic, and they're a little more like jock about things than we're used to seeing, a little more like that Adriano de Sosa thing. But you got to admire the hard work, the passion, and the skill that they're bringing to the table.
Well, Matt, we got to wrap it up. I got the director in my ear saying we got to keep rolling, boys. We could go on all day with you. Thanks for your time, some great insight, and your website. What's your website?
We have lostenterprises.com. That's our big blanket website. I have a blog. It's Mayhem B3 at Posterous.
And your Instagram, because you always have some epic shots of your boards and your new colors.
Instagram's fun.
What is it? How do I follow
Mayhem B3. If you search on Instagram,
Mayhem B3
or Matt Biola, it's either or.
All right, Matt. Well, fantastic. Thanks for spending some time with Dave and I. Coming up next, Robert August, live here in Del Mar, California at the Boardroom. Yo!